really wanna start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randolph. Season here, early time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in. What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So I haven't done this in a while, so I figured the bye week is better than any week to go out there and get some of my peoples, go get some of my friends in the industry, I guess we could say. Listen, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Some people that I came up with, right? A couple of us started our channel around the same time, but listen, I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I'm sure you guys already know them, but Notion, we'll start with you, man. Let them know who you are, where you coming from.
You already know, bro. First and foremost, man, salute to my guy, Philly the podcast, man. Go out here doing it, giving y'all that exclusive info. Man, you already know, man. I got to salute my guy. But y'all already know what time this is. Yeah, let's warm this thing up, my guy. We still got a shot. Hey, listen, I know they didn't count this out, but y'all know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know you know who you rocking with. It's your boy, Philly Notion. Notion gang, salute. You already know I'm going to check the 4K for you real quick. Hey, Lambo, check. Ring. Yes, sir, check. We still all the way in there, gang. Again, if y'all new to my channel, hey, on my guy, Philly the podcast, my guy, Lindy, JC Eagle Talk, y'all know what to do. Go on, hit that subscribe, because y'all know how we bringing it. Man, I'm full of the holiday joy, brother. As y'all can see, I'm ready to get it, my guy. Thanks for the invitation, my guy.
Go ahead, JC.
Hey, all right, fine. You know what? Hey, look, I got the championship belt right here. You know what I mean? Hey, the holiday spirit. Hey, ain't nothing better than the Eagles, championship hat right here. But anyway, hey, it's your boy JC from JC Eagles Talk. Hey, just go follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. It is what it is. Hey, I keep it real, 100. I do play-by-play every Sunday for the fans. That's the least I could do for y'all subscribing to my channel, because I know for a fact, hey, I'm in the VA area, and I know for a fact we do not get the games, but unfortunately, I get all the games. So if you want to get the play-by-play, hit your boy up. You know what I mean? Hit that subscribe, and I see you on Sunday. Well, next Sunday. You know what I mean?
Hey,
but
facts.
One of the only struggles of being out of state, right? I know. No, it's rough, man. It's rough, but what's going on, everybody? Bird brothers and sisters, Lindy Endzone in the building for the touchdown, taking the lead for our Eagles one video at a time, and on the side, dropping buckets for the Dallas Mavericks, who are in halftime right now. But you already know the deal with my thing, and I'm ready to get to it. So I'll let you have it, Castro.
Well, let's get to it. So look, like I've said, we have, obviously all our own channels. We've been talking about this Eagles season all season, a lot of ups and downs, but we'll start again with your Notion. I just kind of want to get the pulse, right? I'll start here. I'll say this much. I've been, labeled a hater. I know a lot of you guys see what my shows and my videos, and I've been labeled a hater, and that's fine. I feel as though it's been an up and down season for every player individually and the team, right? So I just kind of want to get where your pulse is. I know there's a lot of optimism. I don't think, I just did a video saying, like, let me be honest, Phillies Nation, and I feel like when you really look back now, this is the first week that we can actually kind of sit back as fans and not have to really worry about, covering the dynamics of a game week for our team. It kind of gives you that opportunity to look back and say, damn, we're kind of better than I thought we probably would have been. Like, I went back and watched some of my older videos, and I'm sitting here like, I was hoping
two wins.
Yeah, exactly. I was prepared for the worst. So Notion, we'll start with you. How are you feeling so far with this Eagles team?
Listen, I'm just like you, my guy. Look, I took a couple looks at my videos back, and I ain't gonna cap you. I came in this season extra hype, talking about we going 12-5. 10-7 is the low point. So look, right now, yes, I've been humbled some, especially starting off the season. I believe that, of course, we lost games like to the 49ers. That was a game, honestly, I think we could have won. We lost against the Chargers, another close, tight game. We lost to the stinking Giants. Again, some of these games, honestly, when you put it all together, I mean, the context is there that I think we had the talent. But again, we are something that I had to humble myself and learn this year. We are still a learning team. But at the same time, I still believe we got enough to get this job done, especially down the stretch. So by any means, 10-7, in my opinion, is still within reach. It's how we continue to put this all together. So, hey, starting with my pulse again, yeah, I've been kind of leveled. Let's put it like that. Some of the coaching stuff initially, I was scratching my head with the lack of no running game. Again, we saw our defense melt down at times. There was a lot of different things that kind of brought me back down to say, hey, this is a learning coaching staff. We're still figuring out what talent we have, how to best use it. So the 12-5, oh yeah, that immediately came out of play. But 10-7, fellas, is definitely within reach. I think by us handling our business after this bye, look, we can still get there. So right now, I'm probably about a level fan. I started off very optimistic, thinking we was going to do it. But, hey, right now, hey, look, I still think we having a better season than last year. Let's go and put that out there. But at the same time, hey, 10-7, here we go. Let's go and get it.
Oh, jeez.
That's the optimism I need on this channel right now. And it's funny because when we look back, and JC, you could go next, but I just want to say this. When we look back, you won't look at like the game by game. You'll look at whether it was 10-7, 9-8, right? Like 2 years from now, we're going to look back and say we were 10-7 in a rebuilding year. And we won't look game by game, even though it was rough. This was a rough year, but like we might make something out of it. But JC, I'll let you go next.
Yo, look, hey, I had us going 10-7. I made a video before the season started. Game by game, we was going to win this game. We was going to win that game. But this one game I penciled in was the Dallas Cowboys Week 18 game. I was like, congratulations, the Philadelphia Eagles division champion. And that's why I'm cheering for the Washington football team in order for that to happen. Because we control our own destiny. If the Dallas Cowboys beat the Washington football team, hey, they're most likely going to win the division. But 10-7 is still in reach. The fact is this. We should have been a lot more than 10-7. The fans been asking and calling to run the ball. We started against the Detroit Lions, which was like a week 6 or 7. But ever since then, we was 31st in rushing at that game. Right now, we're number 1. Like 6 weeks later, 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, we're number 1 in rushing. Imagine, the 49ers game, Notion, you mentioned. Hey, a couple of these games, we could have won if we was rushing the ball and keeping the offense off the field. Even the Chiefs games, I really believe with the Chiefs game, because they were their, worst secondary in the league, but at the same time, we could have rushed the ball against them. So this Philadelphia Eagles team, in my opinion, yes, it is the first year. Is Nick Sirianni first year? Is Jalen Hurts 17 game in? I still feel like that they underachieve just because of the whole what if we start running the ball? What if this coaching staff was not so stubborn on offense and defense? What if, Jonathan Gannon would just blitz a little bit more, have confidence in the players that you have. Big play, man, big play Slay. He's a man-up guy. Imagine if you just play man on his side, bump Nelson, play man on his side, and then have safety over the top to help Nelson. The simple adjustments like that, 1 or 2 games, we would have been at 8 games right now with 4 left. Who knows? Yeah. But hey, 10-7 is still possible. And if the Washington football team beat the Dallas Cowboys, it's going to be anything's possible. Like Kevin Garnett say, anything's possible. All right, so it's all it is.
Yeah, and I mean, and you talked about the underachievement, JC, and I think that really stems most from a personnel standpoint, not in the means of the players underachieving per se, but the underachievement was like the quality of the personnel that we had. And yeah, there was quite a collection of rookie and year two players in there, but we still had the talent to be a team above 500, but it was up to the coaching staff to get us to that point. But of course we couldn't predict the future at that point in time as to how well these guys are playing, whether it's Slade right now looking like an all pro at 31 years old. Who would have thought? Brandon Graham was looking good prior to injury. Brandon Brooks was looking good prior to injury, and of course we have to cross that bridge when we get there, because it's a shame of what they went through, but we're going to be in another situation where it's going to be a hard pill to swallow with letting some of these top tier veterans go just because of the lack of dependability with them staying on the field. But yeah, I mean, I've been level headed from the start. I had this team at a over under of 8 games. I thought that was the most fair based on every circumstance coming in with the new coaching staff, a bunch of positional coaches, the talent that was acquired, and who we lost, and so I mean they're pretty unscheduled to me. But of course, yeah, it's definitely true that they've underachieved to this point just because of the almost unnecessary confusion, especially when it comes to play calling, because our offense was more than capable of winning us some of these football games if we had the right scheme in place and adjustments throughout halftime.
Yeah, I will say this has been a full team season, because I feel like there's been games that the offense has lost us. There's been games that the defense has lost us. Like
Facts.
both sides of the ball, even by week. Like you look at the first, like I'll say 7 weeks, maybe until the Kansas City game, we were looking at this offense and saying, if you just get it going, this team could be scary. And then past, from the Kansas City game on, it's kind of been. I don't want to say that the defense has been absolutely terrible, but they haven't been consistent at all. Like I feel like the defense has at least had spots of being good, even when they've been bad, right? It's been a very confusing thing with Jonathan Gannon, because he does well and he succeeds when he blitzes, but he just never wants to blitz, and it's very obvious that he does poor when he's not blitzing. So I don't understand his thought process behind it. Maybe hindsight is 2020, but. I mean, you've got hindsight now. It's not like, so, he's one of those guys. But a question that I kept on asking in the off season was, it was a question and a statement, right? Because we obviously know that Jalen Hurts has a big target on his back. This is a big year for him, whether you want to call it an audition or, whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever you want to call it, his development year. It was big for him to get better this year. But you look at a lot, like you guys were talking about, these veterans on this team. We have a lot of decisions to make, but the question I asked earlier, and I'm going to kind of pose it again, was, in the offseason, I was saying, how good does this team have to be in order for it to make sense to eat a lot of these big contracts from these veterans? So the question I want to ask you guys is, looking at this season, and let's say we do make the playoffs. Let's say we win the 3 out of the next 4 or something like that, and sneak into the playoffs. We're a one and done type team, but we get there, right? Do you look at this team and say, okay, we add to this, we can be a scary team and let's keep investing in this team? Or are you saying, now let's get even younger, move on from some of these veterans? How do you guys feel about that? Where on the fence do you land there? I know that's kind of a long-winded question, but
no, that's a great question, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something once depending on if we get to that point again. Yeah. I mean, definitely. If we get to a failing point in the season where we don't make the playoffs, I think ultimately, some of these veterans got to go. We got to continue to rebuild to get younger. But yes, I say the same thing, even if we do make the playoffs, because we're finding success from our young group out there. So again, yes, that's the ultimate goal. We do got to replenish this team. I mean, we build through the draft. So at the end of the day, again, yeah, some of these veterans, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. Like veterans such as Fletcher Cox. I mean, Jason Kelsey. I don't know if he's going to be, playing come next year. Of course, Brandon Graham. We got to face the facts that, yes, we're going to have to go younger regardless if we make the playoffs or not. So, yes, I would say, if we make the playoffs, we may keep some more veterans, I would believe, than if we, lost out the season. But regardless, we got to build through this draft. We already got, some proof right now. Some of the young talent is actually stepping up. So if we could be successful with that, continue to rebuild, because our other division opponents, listen, right now they got a lot of aging veterans also. And some of them, hey, look, they try to figure out how to build through the draft. You got teams like the Giants that don't know how to build through the draft. Washington, of course, they still got their struggles. Dallas had they got a lot of more, I would say, veteran players there. But again, we're finding success as being a young team, so we got to continue that so we could dominate for years to come. So I'm going you, regardless if we make the playoffs or not, build through this draft.
All right, look. Yo, I feel like that we wasted these veteran years this year. Just the fact that the reason why I had the Philadelphia Eagles as such a 10-7 and making the playoffs is because we had the perfect balance. This was the year where if anybody, with the Fletcher Cox, with the Kelsey, with the Barnett, like we had the perfect with the Slade and Nelson. Like we had the perfect balance of youth and veterans. So what is the age are we going to get rid of these guys? Because Cox, I believe, could play very well in another system if he had a dominant guy next to him. But he had Hargrave. Hargrave has 7.5 sacks. He is number 2 in defensive tackle, if I'm correct. I mean, he's number 2 or 3 in defensive tackle position. So is Cox getting old, or was it the scheme that they were running? Because I really feel like that we had the perfect balance. No young team has ever won a Super Bowl. You have to have some veterans on this team. So, and yes, we got rid of a lot of people, And right now, let me see. We got Cox, Kelsey, Johnson, but who else on the defensive line is a vet? Barnett is 5 years in. Yo, I mean, he most likely not, he's gone. So now our whole defensive line, besides Hargrave, he came from the Steelers a couple years ago, and Cox. We have no veterans on this team. We try to do a rotational piece. The year we won the Super Bowl, we had some veterans on that piece. Graham with the Long, with the Cox. I mean, we had some vets on that defensive line. Also, and the defensive backfield, the Michael Jenkins, the Mills. I mean, we had some depth, but now my biggest thing is we can't go too young. You always have to have some vets, but do you have the right coaching to get the best out of the young and the vets? To put them in the right situation, which I thought that Jonathan Gannon, a defensive back coach, that's his that's his baby. But so
our
far,
defensive backs are doing better though. I mean, that's that's one thing to take from this.
Put him on the line.
Well,
Maddox and Slade. And Maddox and Slade. But I mean, look, the overall, I feel like one more year. All right. And to answer your question, one more year, put the right pieces in the draft. Get you a DN to replace a Barnett. Get you a middle linebacker, to replace Eric Wilson or whoever else. And then just get you a corner to kind of replace Steven Nelson, because those are our weaknesses. If you get that one more year and first round picks or even a second round picks and those positions, I think that we will be good.
Now, when you say wasting the veterans, you're talking about in context of like the lack of success to this point.
Well, the first 6-7 weeks, like to me, was a waste on offense and defensive side because we
Okay.
completely changed our philosophy, our
Yeah.
running game, and stuff like that. Our defensive mindset. We changed 6-7 weeks into the season, which most likely might cause us to maybe 1 or 2 games out of the playoffs, maybe. So I mean, hey, shoot, that's a way. That is a year wasted that we can't get back from the Kelsey. Yo, he is that good, man. But I mean, last Sunday, hey, when he went down, I'm like, oh my God, no, please not Kelsey, please. Anybody else but that dude, because he's been that rock that kept the offensive line together. You know what I mean? But would it be like that if this year was like, hey, if we was 8-4, you know what I mean? Just like, oh my God, yo, we could make the playoffs. We are in the playoff hunt. We could make the playoffs, and these guys could go out on top somewhere in there. But now we are scrapping to get in there and hoping that we might be able to do something, and like don't want to see them to go out like as failures. You know, you just like, yeah. So
Yeah.
a wasted year to me.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Can't lose the best center in football, right? No bias. There's no bias in that. I mean, that's the truth. Kelsey at like 33, 34 years old, still playing better than any other center in football. I don't care what you say.
Facts.
Easily, yeah.
But
Easily.
yeah, I mean, when you talk about playoffs, it's funny because we have that mix of people that are like, oh, I don't want to make the playoffs to preserve the quality of my first round pick. Well, that when you're in the locker room, that kind of works the other way around because these guys don't want to underachieve. They don't want to go under expectations. And when you talk about that combination of veteran and young players, this is the best thing for those young guys in terms of experience, because the playoffs are a completely different atmosphere, not only just for the players but for the coaching staff. And you talk about guys learning from their mistakes now. Oh, it's going to be turned up to 11 if when you get into the playoffs and you reach that point, because you're a one and done. You're a one and done. So I mean, worst case scenario here, if we do make the playoffs, yeah, that's only going to affect the first round pick. It's going to be a positive for every other consideration going forward, because that's playoff experience for a lot of these coaches. That's playoff experience for Jalen Hurts, who a lot of us have a lot of questions of if he's going to be that guy moving forward. And if he can get us to the playoffs, I can only imagine what that's going to do for him and, for the trust of a lot of people in that organization. So if anything, we should want this team to make the playoffs and rely on, and I know this probably sounds like an oxymoron, people, but rely on Howie to hit on another good year of draft picks. I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but you got to think about it here. A lot of our veterans are at the two most key positions on this team right now, the trenches.
Yeah,
and that's where all of the momentum starts. Is Kelsey staying? Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson. He always has that lingering ankle issue, but on the bright side, when you see guys like Landon Dickerson playing the way they are, Jordan Mailata is looking like a Pro Bowler, and you see a lot of those guys at the depth spot, whether it's Jack Driscoll and the extension of LaRaven Clark, which could have some more meaning behind it with, with the story of Andre Dillard. But still, as long as you're seeing progress from the younger players at those key positions, then it makes it a little easier to let those guys go because you have something to fall back on. But it's a lot to figure out, but I would like this team to make the playoffs and make the season worthwhile, like it didn't after week 1.
Yeah, and
Anything's
I mean,
possible.
facts. And I mean, at the end of the day, I think one thing that gets brushed under the rug, especially when you're a fan of the team, is that at the end of the day, it's a business, right? Like, so how and if you're a Sixers fan in the chat, I'm sure you can relate to this as well. It doesn't really matter how much you want to get rid of somebody. If they're not, giving you value back, it's probably something that's not going to happen. I had to take my little dig at you, but
Yeah.
realistically,
Nets in the house.
I
Nets
had
in
to
the
take my
house.
shots. You know what I'm saying? Go Brooklyn. But no,
Go
in all
Brooklyn.
seriousness, in all
I'm
seriousness,
surrounded.
yeah, you're just like sitting here like Mavs. I mean, man, hey,
Yeah, I know. Y'all put a hurting on us the other day.
hey,
We're
We could
not
won
hurting. I mean, we barely won that one though.
I know,
I mean,
I
it's
know.
up top.
I
It
know
wasn't
y'all.
a hurting
Yeah.
though. Okay.
We
We're
could've
still
won that-
figuring us out. We're still figuring us out. I'm not
We
gonna sit here
could
and
have
lie.
won that game if Luka was
Imagine
not
if
on
Kyrie
Zion's
was
fitness
there.
program.
Look,
I
if
know.
Kyrie was there, we probably would have lost maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, we
Like,
would be
if
a way
Kyrie
better
was
team.
there?
I mean,
Yeah,
who
we were.
knows? Who knows?
we were.
I wish we got
we lost to the
Kyrie.
Rockets. I ain't trying to hear that. So I
Yeah.
was all sought after that. So
That was
Luka
bad.
Luka got to stop getting closer to 300 pounds. That's getting on my nerves, man. You can't
Everybody
you can't
can
play
play.
on 30.
Wait, Durant didn't even play. Notion. Durant didn't even play.
Yeah,
hey,
It
it
don't
don't
count.
matter. It's still
It
the
don't
Rockets.
count.
though.
It don't
it's
count.
still the Rockets, bro.
It
Like,
don't
It's still
count.
the
What you-
Rockets. They
All
tried, man.
Okay, look, wait. Hey, look, the Lakers lost to Memphis. They got blown out by 72 points too.
Yeah, that. Oh
Well,
my
of course,
God, you saw that?
That's what I'm
That was
saying.
bad.
No,
That was
Grizzlies
bad.
That's what I'm
torched the Thunder,
saying.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that was bad.
like, yeah, 72 points, and then to turn around.
I think it
and
was
the Lakers
75.
lost
I
to
think it
them.
was 75.
And the Lakers
Yeah.
lost to them with all 5 Hall of Famers starting on the floor. So come on, man.
It's true.
All right.
Grizzlies
Any
didn't
given-
have
any-
2 of their best 3 players, and
any
I mean that's what
night
happens when you don't take care of the
Exactly.
basketball. Lakers
That's
had
what I'm
22
saying.
turnovers. Yeah.
Yeah. But before I took the shot, I know I kind of derailed it real quick. I had to. That was well worth it. But no, all jokes aside, you look at some of these veterans on our team and it's like, what are you going to get back? You look at Fletcher Cox and on paper, right? If I come to you as a fan to fan and say, hey, Fletcher Cox is available, would you want him on your team?
Yes.
You're going to probably say yes, right? And then you start looking at it, you start looking at his contract, you start looking at his age, his production over the last couple of years. What could he really bring to your team? His contract hit this year alone. And there's a lot of things that obviously he didn't get moved on for much because people didn't want to, commit to that. So you look at him, you look at Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, there's question marks with all these veterans. So I know I asked the question about just moving on from them, but it might be a lot harder than just doing it, right? It might be people aren't biting for the right price. Because if you called me tomorrow and was like, Joe, Fletcher Cox just got traded for a 4th or 5th round pick, I'd be pissed. I'm going to be very frank. I'm going to be pissed. And that would make no sense.
Second or third.
Exactly. So there's limits to this,
Yeah.
but I think that if
There
you
is.
can get in the position, because I do feel confident with the offensive line that we have. I do think that even if we have to go and get a right tackle, I think that we're able to do that. I feel like use Stoutland until he leaves. If you have to develop an offensive lineman, now's the time, in my opinion. And defensive line wise, I don't really know who Tracy Rocker is. Defensive line wise, this is probably our worst year as a defensive line, if I'm being blunt, in a while right now. And you can look at production of the old, the veterans, or you could look at the young guys not necessarily doing their job. But I look at Tracy, man. Like, Tracy, your job is to get these guys ready. So I don't know if he needs higher level players, if he needs younger players that can fit multiple roles. I don't know what he needs, but we need to figure that defensive line out. That defensive line has become my biggest concern, because it's not about will Fletcher Cox ever play a good, down of football again. I know he will. It's more so who's next. Like, who's after Brandon Graham? I mean, Josh Sweat is cool, but has he really worked? Yeah. Has he really earned that contract yet this year? And I can't really say yes. He hasn't been great. So I don't know if we have any talent at that spot. Other than that, I think we're good everywhere. Cornerback, I wouldn't really say that Darius Slay's a year away. I think he's still got 2 or 3 years in him. So yeah, I think that's something you need, but I don't think it's like, dire. I would not be mad about Slay coming back. I'm not Slay. Nelson. I wouldn't be mad about Nelson coming back. I really wouldn't be mad about Nelson coming back.
Yeah, I'm
okay with Nelson.
Come on.
He has not been bad.
Listen,
he has not been bad.
No.
He's been serving.
JC Notion. Oh, no. Okay. Nelson just said he's social. I got you. He's serviceable. I got you. JC, hold on, man. Hold on,
but the hype that he came with, he ain't been producing to that level of those expectations.
Yeah, well,
what hype, bro? He came here for 1 year, 5 months. That's what hype.
Every Philadelphia Eagle fan was like Nelson. Every
Philadelphia Eagle was like Paul Turner in that one preseason.
Come on,
like,
I know.
Eagles fans overhype things. That's just what we do.
I mean, would we rather Darby or Mills over there instead of Nelson? No.
Yep.
Maybe Darby. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes.
What?
Darby can't tell.
Yo,
Darby can't went to that many cornerbacks can. If we're being 100% honest.
I went to Saints game in person. I went to 3 games this year. Every game I went to, they picked on one guy, Nelson. Why? He's not an outside corner. He's a slot corner. That's the problem.
Yeah,
he's so small.
But my thing is, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather have Maddox back outside? No. I wouldn't.
Well, no,
I'd rather have Nelson there.
What? Yeah, facts. But at the same time, we waited 6-7 weeks to change our offense and our defense. So why not put McPherson in there? Why not put anybody else on the outside that's bigger than Nelson, just to try to see.
We've seen
we can't do any worse.
I ain't trying to see McPherson either out there.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I would. You almost have more. I would rather kind of see Kerry Vincent come up and be active for 1 game or 2, or Tay Allen. I like Tay Allen.
Yeah. And let's try something because we went from a quarterback factory to a cornerback factory. So
yeah, we got like 17.
Let's see exactly. And there's rumors that a McCain was released and on waivers, and he might. It is what it is. Yeah. So look. I'm just saying, Nelson is not the future, and he's not going to be here next year. After watching that Saints game, there's no way in hell I would bring him back and sign him, because you know what? It's a 1-year deal. He might go and require what $5 to $7 million a year? Hell no, you ain't worth that.
I'll give him 5 again. I'll give him 5. If he wanted to come back for like 2 years, $9 million or something like that.
Okay, all right. 2 years, $9 million. That's not quite
like 4.5 a year. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Man, I would do that in a heartbeat. Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm gonna be straight honest with y'all. We got a problem. Our problem lies with drafting talent at the cornerback position. Listen, right now, it is what it is. We don't have a second outside true cornerback beyond Darius Slay. All the other cornerbacks are probably best suited in the slot. We've been doing that for years in Philly. We tried to force Avonte Maddox to be an outside corner last year. We knew he was a slot corner the whole time. So this is a drafting problem. I think what was the last cornerback we drafted? We drafted, what was it, Sidney Jones? Trying to get him to become a outside corner. That was a fail. Ever since then, we've been trying to force slot corners on the outside. So, again, I don't think Steven Nelson, unless he's trying to come back to play slot corner on a discounted type of rate, nope, I'm going out this
season. It's Maddox, man.
Hey, listen, we going to get us a true outside cornerback.
I like Jalen Mills too, though. So maybe I'm not one to. I'm not the one to listen to because I like him.
I think out there.
I think Nelson's doing good though. I think Nelson's probably our best secondary guy. He makes tackles. You don't hear his name that often. I mean,
know what?
He does get
20 yards down the line.
15,
20 yards down the line. You know what? He go first down.
But does that?
Can't be making tackles. 15,
can we also
20
say
yards
that
down
has
the
to do
line?
with Gannon's? Can we also say it has to do with Gannon's system?
Yeah, that might be.
I mean, maybe he's not built to do that, you know. So it's but all right, we've been going for about 35 minutes. Everybody, shout out to everybody in the chat. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. But listen, I wanted to save time
Okay,
because
go
this
ahead.
last thing that we are going to talk about,
Go
what
ahead.
rhymes with cornerback factory, is quarterback controversy. I don't think that rhymes, but we're going to go with it anyways. I want to ask all you guys,
Oh,
how are we
man.
feeling so far? I know that
Here we
there's
go.
realistically
Yo.
not a quarterback controversy, but
30
how
minutes,
are you feeling
30
about
minutes,
the
30 minutes, 30 minutes. Hey, that's 2 hours,
Hey.
man. If you got 2 hours,
Hey,
you got
How
2
y'all
hours.
feeling?
Oh man.
All right,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead,
I'm
man.
gonna keep it short and sweet because again, this is the only city that I know. Listen, Philadelphia is known for making quarterback controversies. Why can't it be just we got two solid, good performing quarterbacks on the team? Every time there's some kind of competition or we see some good out of somebody, automatically it's a controversy. No, it's not. Again, I'm believing that, hey, Gardner Minshew, he's a pretty serviceable, I guess, good backup. He did what he
Facts.
needed to do, came in the game, got the job done. This is Jalen Hurts' team. Succeed or fail, this team is going to, at least go out on his back this year. I think that's owed to Jalen Hurts. We need at least, if he's going to fail us out, let him go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and make our own evaluation at the end. But to try to even think there's some kind of controversy at this point, no, I'm not buying that. Again, there's some things that we saw Minshew do very well that Jalen Hurts needs to improve with. But Jalen Hurts is still developing. Again, we ain't got no patience in Philly, so we need to go ahead and understand that some of these quarterbacks need time to grow. What is it, like 2 or 3 years is when a quarterback kind of, I guess, truly develops into that talent?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts ain't had that kind of time yet. So I'm ready to see how Jalen Hurts responds to adversity. Right now, again, this man is coming off of a slump game, throwing 3 picks, one of the most, I'm sure the most worst game of his career right now. So watching how this man stands up to that, season's on the line, ain't no more of an adverse situation than that. I want to see how Jalen Hurts respond. So again, look, leaders step up during time of adversity. So we about to find out if Jalen Hurts is a true leader or not. And at the same time, again, I didn't want to see this coming into the season again, but this is something we need to see as a fan base, is how Jalen Hurts is built to close this out. So ain't no controversy. And Jalen Hurts, I still trust until we get up out this thing. Hey, I'll make my evaluation at the end of the year. That's how I feel.
Hey, go ahead, Lindsay. Hey, because I have a lot to say, but go ahead. Go ahead.
There we go. All right, let me open up something here just to enhance, I guess, the reality of what happened versus the Jets. We got to review it. First of all, let me ask you all this. Can you name a better backup in the league better than Gardner Minshew right now? Probably not. Probably not. So if anything, we should be appreciative of having him as a backup in the first place.
Andy Dalton?
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. See, no, he knows that.
No, Nick Foles isn't there anymore either. He's just rotting over there away in Chicago. I don't know. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with keeping all them quarterbacks on there. But it's not here nor there. The reason I said that is because I had to drop a video of my own when this happened, and I'm like, people, come on. Are we really trying to overanalyze this right now? There's no controversy whatsoever, because that was the responsibility of Gardner to begin with. When the starter goes down, is that he comes in, he does what he has to do, he wins the football game for a squad to keep him afloat, and that's that. If we end up going forward and people be like, oh, we should keep Gardner in there for better playoff chances. Well, what do you think? What do you think that's going to do in terms of finding out what Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback, and between that and development? You're just going to end up to a lesser degree hitting the restart button on what the end of 2020 on what 2020 transpired at the end when you bench the starting quarterback and then the backup comes in. You're just going to end up doing that all over again. This was supposed to be an evaluation year for Hurts to find out what he is. You invested a second round pick in this guy, especially when he wasn't even projected to be that high. So that tells you right there how much faith and how much belief in the talent that this organization has placed upon this kid. So, I mean, but of course, let it be us. Well, not us per se, but people in some people in the fan base to blow this out of proportion. Because they're they're looking for a little bit extra action. From the just from the bipolar season we have had. But no, there's no controversy. I mean, Gardner's more experienced. He's supposed to look better than Hurts at this point. So I mean, what are we talking about here?
I mean, it's like a 4-game difference. It's like Gardner has about 4 games more starting than Jalen Hurts. I will say this because y'all know I love to play devil's advocate. I will say this. It puts way more pressure on Jalen Hurts to be able to work within the system, because I think the biggest winner out of that game, when you sit back and actually like really look back at it, is
Howie
Nick Sirianni.
Roseman.
No, it's Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni like went out there. I don't care who it was against. You have to, scheme up an offense. He schemed up an offense with his backup quarterback and a beaten up offensive line towards the end of that game. So, honestly, it shows that Nick Sirianni knows what he's doing to a certain extent. There's still a lot of things that he needs to work on, but he showed that he can put together a winning formula on offense. And I think he's done that multiple weeks. But we've always kind of given it to Jalen. We always can, which is, fair to a certain extent, because we give a lot of the blame to Jalen. So he should get a lot of the kudos when it works. But, I think now it's time that we look at Jalen and we say, okay, we kind of understand that Nick Sirianni doesn't totally have his, head up his rear end as a head coach. So, there's really no excuse for, I really don't feel like there's any excuse for Jalen Hurts moving forward. Yeah. I think that this team has weapons on offense. When the defense plays well, the defense plays well, but you can analyze a team even when they lose a game. So, to sit here and say, oh, well, Jalen could have done better if the defense did better, that's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. You can see what the quarterback does, and it is what it is. It might change up the type of offense we have to run, the time that we have to run it, but at the end of the day, if the quarterback's going to play well, the quarterback's going to play well. So I like Jalen, and I do think that going into this offseason, unless someone jumps off the board, I think he has to be your quarterback going into next year. It just makes more sense. You have the leadership factor. Everybody seems to really buy in to him. He seems like a guy that will at least bring the best out of the guys around him. So why not? I don't really see a quarterback in this draft, like I said, that jumps off at me. But if there is, then there will be. I don't really want Russ. I mean, I don't really want any of these guys,
Aaron
to be
Rodgers,
honest with you.
Deshaun Watson.
It's not really my cup of tea. I don't want all that drama. We have enough drama in Philly anyway. So, and we're the type to a lot of your points, man. We're the type of fan base that if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt one game, and we got Colt McCoy come in and win us a game, we'll be out here saying bench Aaron Rodgers. So, I really think I'm not trying to deal with it. But final thought, I'm going to close this out right now. Final thought from everybody. Wait, I don't even think JC got to say your part.
All right. Hey, real quick. To me, Nick Sirianni is like Jonathan Gannon. They're front runners. Jonathan Gannon blitzed bad quarterbacks. If for some odd reason he didn't blitz Zach Wilson, I mean, it kind of mind-boggling me. Like the whole first half, they scored 18 points. We could not stop him. He looked like Peyton Manning coming. Like he was just boom, 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 touchdown. If only the kicker was hitting the extra points and field goals, I guarantee you the Philadelphia Eagles would be in a whole different situation because they were close enough to kick field goals. But they was like, you know what? I don't trust my kicker. We about to go for it, and boom, we try to get closer. But at the same time, Nick Sirianni, the Falcons game was exactly like the Jets game. The first game, the play chart, majority of the throws were to the right and went to screens, wide receiver screens, tight end screens, all that good stuff. Jalen Hurts was 27 for 35, 3 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew was 20 for 25, 2 touchdowns. But the play chart was the same. A lot of it, 80% of it was to the right, behind the line of scrimmage, 10 yards above the line of scrimmage. So it wasn't nothing so far deep. Like, oh my God, this dude, he's Aaron Rodgers. He's throwing it downfield 30, 40, 50 yards. It wasn't like that. It was a surprise factor. The Jets was not ready for Gardner Minshew. It was reported that, a cornerback, a starting cornerback, man. I did my live and I posted this tweet. This cornerback was like, hey, we prepared for Jalen Hurts. We did not prepare for Gardner Minshew. So, of course, that's advantage Eagles all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. You know what I mean? So, man, I'm not going to say, hey, he probably would have went for 20 for 25, but he probably would have had a lot more heat on him if they knew they had a stationary quarterback that was not mobile enough to go, move a lot. You saw a Minshew try to pick up a first down. He was slow as molasses. I was like,
he's not slow.
That man's Minshew, 8 yards. I was like, God dang, come on, Minshew. Look, all right, but look, hey, how realistic is this? Like, Jalen Hurts should be the starting quarterback moving forward. Minshew had his shot. It's not my fault that his wide receivers were bad or whatever. I mean, he still had Coles back there and Chalk back there. DJ Chalk back there. So he still has some quality wide receivers. But he had a year and a half because Nick Foles got hurt after, matter of fact, week 1, the first snap. And Nick Foles had a broken collarbone the first game.
So I will say this. I will say this though.
A
lot of times when Eagles fans talk about Gardner Minshew, it's never why Jalen Hurts should have the job. It's why they think Gardner Minshew should not.
Exactly.
But I don't think that's how you look at a football team. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to Gardner. I don't think that's fair to Jalen. Jalen is going against himself at the end of the day. In my opinion, Jalen is going against himself. He has to be the best quarterback he can be, improve to this organization that he has at the very least. I don't know what they're looking for, but at the very least that he has something they can build around, right? I think that's the very least he has to show, whether it's his running prowess or that they think that they can develop his arm. So I will say this much. While I do play devil's advocate a lot and stuff like that.
A lot.
Hey, it is what it is. It's a lot of fun. Try it sometime. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. It's fun being the bad guy every now and then. Yeah, but no, all jokes aside, like I really do feel like Jalen Hurts has no excuses. There's no excuse. And this is how I'll finish at least my take. And then you guys give me your last final thoughts. But the way I'm looking at it right now is Jalen Hurts has talent around him. He has a competent enough coach to make this work. And all his deficiencies, I should say, are on him. At this point, they are on him, and he needs to fix them moving forward. He cannot have another game that he has 3 interceptions, especially against a team like the Giants. The Giants, we can sit here and talk about how bad the Jets they are, and they are, don't get me wrong, but the Giants are not a good team either, and this is a trend that we've been seeing against the divisional opponents, which gets me nervous. So I think that's I'm looking forward. I think that we're in a position that we can make the playoffs. We can make a nice little run. But my biggest concern and my biggest focus point, my biggest focal point moving forward is Jalen Hurts improving himself. But Philly Notion, let them know where they can find you guys, and then give your final thoughts on this season moving forward.
Absolutely. So real quick, I'll give you my final thoughts. I'll let y'all know where to check me out. But at the same time, hey, you right on the nail with that Philly the podcast, because at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts is going to write the ending into this story. So, again, Minshew, at the end of the day, you know what? He might, if Jalen Hurts succeeds and this all goes well and we make the playoffs, I'm going to tell you what, Minshew's trade value is going to go out the roof, and we might have a way to get, offload, I guess what, Minshew for definitely more than what he came in here with. So, this is all in Jalen's hands. Again, if he fails, expect a quarterback controversy this coming off season because Minshew's going to deserve his shot to compete for the spot. Nice. So It's all in Jalen Hurts' hands again. I believe that we can get it done. We have enough talent, but once again, we got to see how our quarterback's built for this. But at the same time, I do got to watch our defense also, because if we're at least putting up offensive points and we getting beat by the defense, I mean, we gonna have a problem regardless. So, hey, I'm just excited. 10-7, I still believe it. Again, if y'all new to my channel, of course, it's Philly Notion. Y'all know what to do. Check me out and go hit that subscribe. Because y'all know how we coming with it. Come win, lose, or draw. Y'all know y'all gonna hear from me. Please believe that. Hey, appreciate you coming, but let me come on, my guy. Indeed.
You already know. JC, you can go next.
Yeah. Hey, look. My final thought is this: the Philadelphia Eagles need to be patient with Jalen Hurts. All right, I know I'm talking low, soft, and half of y'all might be going to sleep, but wake the hell up! The Philadelphia Eagles need to be patient with Jalen Hurts. I'm tired with this whole backup Rocky mentality shit. You know what? Rocky, the only reason why he succeeded was because a fictional character, by the way. He wasn't even real. All right, so he's a fictional character. All right, so because of the whole underdog, he fell the first time, but he succeeded second and third. Jalen Hurts never had a chance. So give him a full year and also build around him. This team's all around the league. Zach Wilson is booty right now. Yo, the Jets is not going to get rid of him. You know, Justin Fields, he had his chance. And guess what? He going to have his chance again this Sunday night against the Packers. He's going to be probably okay. Maybe it is what it is. Trevor Lawrence, the first-round draft pick. He's not balling out. The thing is this. The Philadelphia Eagles fans, I know the past 20 years since 2000, we are winners. Yes, baby, we are winners. You know what I mean? Yo, we were to back. We was the last team to win back-to-back NFC East championships. You know, facts. 2003, 2004. That was how long it's been. It's hard to do in the NFC East. So guess what? Be patient. McNabb. It was patient with McNabb. As much as the Eagles fan booed him and called him trash, but the Eagle organization back then with Jeffrey Lurie was still patient because they wasn't listening to the fan as much as looking on, okay, we invested a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a head coach. Let's give them 2, 3, 4 years to see if they could change the narrative. If not, guess what? We could rebuild around them. It did not take long for McNabb and Andy Reid to start being successful. Why not give Jalen Hurts the same opportunity? Worst case scenario, this past Sunday proves that we have a capable backup. The first 3-4 games, and we 1-3, 0-4. Guess what? Bench Jalen Hurts ass, and then start Gardner Minshew. And then worst case scenario, guess what? You are probably 2-17 or 2-15. You got a first round draft pick to go get a quarterback. Please. I just want the Eagle fans to sit just be patient, man. I know we are not losers. We are so spoiled that one bad year, fire everybody. That's what I don't get. One bad year. Last year, yes, the Doug Pearson era, 3 out of 4 years, we made the playoffs. 3 out of 4 years. And he made us win our first Super Bowl. This year, does not really count. It doesn't count. Next year.
It always counts.
Oh, it counts. It
always counts. It always counts.
Come on.
I mean, look,
stop it.
JC, you my dog, bro. I love you. I know I'm a Hurts hater. It really don't matter to me at this point because it's realistically it's stuff like that makes me the Hurts hater because it's like I get that you like Hurts, but like we keep saying build around Hurts. Build what? Like, what are we gonna build around?
The defense costs us so many.
The defense doesn't play
year,
offense.
though.
Like, the defense doesn't play offense.
Hey,
I mean,
how could you put up 30
Yeah,
points?
yeah.
Hurts is a part of the building
How could you
block.
put up 30 points
Yeah,
and still lose?
I mean, I was gonna say this earlier. The offense primarily dictates how often the defense goes on the field. In terms of time of possession and efficiency,
Exactly.
but it's up to the defense to get themselves off of the field by playing defense. So that's Hurts and the play caller's responsibility to execute. So I mean,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, think about it. When we talk about these quarterbacks going on when we talk about these quarterbacks going under center for this football team, to be fair, Hurts and Minshew have to take advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves. Now, that's where you evaluate Hurts as a quarterback. How often was he able to take advantage of the opportunity as a starter when it presented itself? Not very much, outside of other factors, and yeah, those factors are there, but do they outweigh the importance of how Hurts plays on the field? Yes and no. So Minshew was able to take advantage of his opportunity when he got the chance when Hurts was absent. And later down the road, it's not necessarily about building around Hurts. It's building the team around a quarterback. So it doesn't matter what quarterback you insert in there. The team itself is competent enough to be able to win games. And of course the quarterback does matter because it's about your system and what you're trying to do schematically. Because I mean, ask the Colts what Sirianni had to do with three different quarterbacks with operating his scheme, whether it was Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers. Those are three totally different quarterbacks. And
you didn't call the plays.
And but still, what I mean is that he was still partially responsible in terms of working with Frank Reich to get the system going for these guys. That was part of his responsibility. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's not necessarily building around Hurts, but it's building around said quarterback or the football team in general. And at the end of the day, these guys also have to take advantage of their opportunities, so long as the head coach puts them in the right place to succeed, as well as the organization. Because again, like Castro said earlier, it's a business, and everybody has a part to play in that business.
Aren't y'all just glad? Real quick, aren't y'all just happy because we almost at a point in time, and I know you was on that train, my man, Joe. I got to call you out real quick, but we could have had Nick Mullins as our backup quarterback. So, hey, listen, we saw some bad quarterback play. That man was buns. So it is what it is. Hey, look, we got two decent quarterbacks. Again, like you said, I think we just need to continue building that whole system, like Lindy's saying also, so that we can make a decision what quarterback needs to come up in there. But we didn't saw some bum with some quarterbacks up in Philadelphia. So we got to give these quarterbacks that we got some kind of chance to develop. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I will say this much, and I'll always say this, man. I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so I don't care if JC Eagles Talk is our quarterback. I'm gonna be repping the Philadelphia JC. You could be our Eagle, our quarterback. We got this. You know what I'm saying, Lindy? If you go out there, throw some pads on, I got you, bro. I'm buying a jersey. At the end of the day, it's all about the logo. So, hey, like you said, Lindy. At the end of the day, whoever the quarterback is, we have to build a solid team around him. I probably should have brought up Jalen Hurts first because I knew it was a hot button topic. That's why I did it at like the halfway mark, and I was like, hopefully we get all of our emotions out. But I'm glad we had this talk, man. Yeah, seriously. But I am glad that we had this talk, man. We needed this, and I'm glad to have y'all back on. Notion, we have not talked in so long. It's been like the off season since the off season. Yeah. JC Eagles Talk. We've been meaning to do this. Lindy, we've been meaning to do this. So I'm glad we all got together. Before we do go, JC and Lindy, y'all haven't just remind them where they can see your channel, and then we're gonna get out of here.
JC Eagles Talk on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. I made it simple. JC Eagles Talk on every platform. Go check me out.
and the handle remains the same for me, whether it's YouTube or Twitter. I'm on, on there, whether, for my content between the Eagles and Mavericks, and a little bit of the Atlanta Braves, the World Series champs, on Twitter. I like to bring that up there, but yeah, if you like the diversity of fandom that I bring to the table, come on over.
Facts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they all got the Philly stamp. You know what I'm saying? Got nothing but love for these guys. So I do appreciate it. This was a lot of fun, man. Everybody, I appreciate watching. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe. We on all the channels. Please do. And we're so close to 3K. So let's get there. Let's stop the dilly-dallying around. All right. And let's get to 3K.
Yeah.
But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is Fly Eagles Fly. And we are out here. Peace.
Scott with the Philadelphia
John
Eagles.
Dornbos here, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Average the Philadelphia Eagles.
Follow my guy Joe Castro on his YouTube/podcast channel.
Let's give a shout out to the Philly podcast.
And shout out Philly and my guy Joe Castro. So keep on doing great things, guys. Fly Eagles Fly.
Fly Eagles Fly.
Go Birds.